It's time for that segment you have been looking forward to, the phone-in segment, the interactive segment, where we get to hear your thoughts and, have an opportunity to hear what it is you have to say on our topic of discussion. Now, today we'll be tackling, a very sensitive issue that happened and trended towards the end of last year, the cases of Stampede across the country. Now, the tragic stampede, we had the one at Islamic High School, Basharun, Ibadan, which resulted in the death of at least 35 children. That raised questions about accountability and justice. Now, we saw Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, who vowed that those responsible for the stampede will face trial regardless of their status. That is on one side. Now, the incident was not an isolated case. In recent weeks, we also saw similar stampedes across the country. We saw in Abuja a stampede that broke out during a palliative distribution at the Holy Trinity Church in Maitama, leaving many feared dead. And also in Anambra, 29 people lost their lives in a similar incident. Now, just a few days ago, we had the fun fair in Ibadan that claimed 35 lives of children. These tragedies have become all too familiar, and it's time to ask the question: should the organizers be held accountable? And for the loss of lives, should they be held accountable for the loss of life? What kind of punishment should be meted out? Is it really the fault of the organizers? Was it a case of poor planning, or is it the attitude of Nigerians towards the inability to actually queue up for items when being distributed? Now, should the organizers face punishment, or is there another way to address these tragedies? Join the conversation by calling us, via the phone numbers that would be displayed on your screen shortly. I'm sure that phone number will be put up shortly. Join in, place a call through, send a message via social media, and throughout the show, we'll be exploring different perspectives on these issues, from legal experts to community leaders to the roles of Nigerians as a whole, families affected. We'll examine measures that can be put in place to prevent such incidents from happening in the future. So let's get the conversation started. Do want to call in and let's hear your thoughts. But I have a quick thought on this now. I'd love to share your thoughts on that, Summayya. The war against indiscipline, as enacted sometime in the 90s by President Buhari, then when he was a general, so one of the key measures was having Nigerians being orderly for such things. I would say the blame is shared between those that managed the event and the people that were present there. Those that managed the events, what were the amount of security operatives in place to control the crowd? Very important. And those that were there, even in a normal setting back then in school, normal queue up to get an ID card or something, you find people shunting the lines. You find a certain level of disorderliness amongst people. So would you say it's the attitude of the people, Nigerians in general? Nigerians cannot line up for anything. Let's look at fuel people statue. They can't line up to save their lives.
Okay, in defense of Nigerians, I don't think it's just a Nigerian problem. I think it's just human problem. Human beings in general are difficult to control. I mean, the only difference between us and animals is that we have a bit of sense more than them. But
even WhatsApp group chat, people are difficult to control on WhatsApp group. Talk more of queue.
Exactly. So there is always that. You see people, grown people fighting. Someone saying, "Oh, you want to, break the line and go somewhere." No, I came before you. There is always that lack of order. But then if it comes to definitely that, I understand that. I think we have to really change our mindset. We have to think smart. We have to know that if we're going somewhere, it's a case of if I should get it, fine. If I don't, fine. And then the organizers definitely, because it's difficult to coordinate human beings, then you definitely need strong people like security people to tell them, don't do this and do this.
All right, let's take this call. We have our first caller this morning. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning to you in the studios. I'm Mohammed Abdullah. I'm calling from Adamawa State.
Mohammed Abdullah, it's good to have you. Share your thoughts with us.
The truth of the matter, I'm very sorry to use this language, but our problem is lack of leadership.
Okay.
There is leadership. Genius, it's a repeat. You understand? If you remember, even during Jonathan, this can happen. The Minister of Interior gathered to Nigerians in the stadium, and this happened, no compensation, no demand, no necessary action on it. So it's something that everybody, because of the poverty in the country, we can just gather Nigerians and be confident and we bring more arrangement, we do this security apparatus on ground. But
Mohammed, your network is breaking. Honestly, I really want to hear you. Can you try perhaps and stay away from your device, and let's see if you can get a bit clearer, because it's difficult to get what you are saying. But if I could pick on what Mohammed said, is the fact that in the whole situation, he's blaming the leadership of the country, saying if at all things are good, people would not have had to go and queue up and put themselves in harm's way. But let's not forget, it's not just when there is, a sharing of food. It was the case of a event that was organized for kids in Ibadan where, someone died. Kids, a lot of children died there. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Shatima from Maiduguri. How are you this morning?
I'm fine, Summayya.
Okay. So good to have you. Let's hear your take.
Lilian, good morning.
Good morning, Shatima. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year and happy Xmas in Arias.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, let's hear
Go
your
ahead
take.
with your
Issue
thoughts.
of the Stampede. Honestly speaking, the issue is very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate in the sense that the people that have been Stampede, it's not their fault. But rather, this issue of hungry doesn't have sense. People find themselves in a very hardship difficulties. So whatever they do is not their fault, but rather, to me, the organizers of these things, they do not organize it very well. Because Nigerian society is a very, organized society. We have leaders right from the world level. Why can't they mark house to house to give to the world leader for him to distribute, with the supervisions of some other organizations? So by gathering people in the same place, with this hunger that we find ourselves in, it is very difficult to organize people to enjoy that palliative. And honestly speaking, I will be rather saying it is very, very unfortunate for Nigeria to be queuing up to collect rights. We are above that. Nigeria is a rich country. I keep on saying, Nigeria is a rich country. How can we be so far in killing ourselves because of rice? What is rice? Not something important, but rice. Put now is above the Nigerian citizen. I can remember I have one of my senior in office. He was telling me during their time they rejected rice and other food stuff. That was during Buhari when he was in Kaki. How can a military government will be better for a democratic government? My brother was telling me they kick against receiving rice, milk, and sugar. They don't want it because they have many in their houses. They do not exhaust it. It is that very, very unfortunate. And at that time, Nigeria is not rich as it is today. And we are in democratic era. Our people are hungry. And there is nothing sensitive that government is doing to curtail the problem. This is very, very unfortunate. Please, this government have to wake up, have to do something. Because we do not ask them to give palliative. What we are asking is let them sanitize the nation. Let everyone go to the farm and pump for him to cater for himself. And we, as Mr. President have said, he does not believe in the press control. So instead of the press control, why can't he revive cooperative? Cooperative is a government store where you buy things at a cheaper rate. That is where palliative goes. We are not asking for just free food.
Okay.
Let them the food come down so that everybody can afford to buy.
Okay.
Please and please, we are begging the government.
All right,
Let them
Shatima.
do something urgently.
Okay.
Our people are dying. Our people are they find themselves in a very big problems.
Yeah, I get your frustration, Shatima. Truly, I mean, you've today, this morning, if the government have heard you, then definitely they would have a rethink, because you poured out the concern of every Nigerian and frustration. Thank you so much, Shatima, for calling. Always a pleasure having you. Now, talking about the Stampede, let's not forget it wasn't only in when they were sharing palliatives that it was Stampede. In Oyo, Ibadan State, we had kids, organizers organized some kind of a fun fair for the festivities, and we lost a lot of lives. Over 35 people died, and most of them were children. So now the governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, is saying these people have to be prosecuted, like they have to face trial. So with all of that happening, and then that, let's for a minute, let's forget the cost of or the cost of saying but there is hunger in the land and all of that. Should these organizers be should they face trial? That is the question for today. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Olanrewaju. I'm calling from Abuja.
It's good to have you, Olanrewaju. Let's hear your take.
Yeah, I think that for as you said earlier, Makinde, Governor Makinde of Oyo State, I think it's very wrong to say that those people must face prosecution. Actually, how will he say something like that? Is it their fault? Then some people want to do charity to the people. Some people have more money.
Do we still have Olanrewaju on the line? No, it's so sad that we lost that. Let's not forget, even the Western world that we're learning, laws and all of that from, they definitely would hold these people accountable. Organizers are to blame if at all there is any hurt that comes to anybody that comes to, of course, that's organization or something, the events that they had. So
the basic questions should happen to the organizers, like what was your crowd control measures? What security measures did you put in place? I saw a video at Bodilon, Bodilon in Lagos, road to Tinubu's house, where people were meant to collect palliative, and they were lined up. There were lots of security agents there, and they were lined up properly in a straight line. Because so that was a crowd control measure. So that happens every year. So people know that every year I go to Bodilon and I line up and then we get palliatives. Now this is fun fair. What was the size of the place? Did you calculate, even if you did a calculation for 300 people, it's Nigeria. You should have an estimate for 350 people. Yeah. What was put in place? What security agencies did you have on ground? What were your crowd control measures? What were the emergency exits? Like, there are so many things that the organizers need to be held accountable for. Give us the answers to these questions.
Yeah. No, it was already clear that the intended numbers that was supposed to be the planned numbers was even outnumbered. So there was that from the start. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. We can hear you.
Please tone down. Stay away from your device, please.
Yes,
all right, let's stop. Okay. So what's your name and where you're calling us from?
My name is Ahmed Ibrahim.
Okay, Ahmed, it's good to have you. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Lokoja.
Good to have you from Kogi State. So let's hear your take on today's topic.
Actually, the last caller was about talking about Seyi Makinde's attitude or order that they should be prosecuted.
Yeah, he said they should face trial. They should face trial first.
That they should face trial. It is only in Nigeria that I can see that people that have failed, instead of going to cover their face, in shame, they are not doing that. Instead, they are trying to raise blame on people that are out to help the needy. That woman, the former Oni of Ife wife, organized a palliative for those that needed, for the needies. If not because of bad governance, and the situation that is bad, the economy is as bad as everything, nobody would have even go there to go and collect. But people are in need. Even if you are giving them 1 cup, they will rush for it. So she has done a lot. Instead of her to receive applause, to praise her, he is saying that she should face trial. Are we encouraging philanthropists to come out and do more, and we are discouraging them. This is discouraging because if she's prosecuted, others that have that good heart to help people will not come out to help again. Because in the event of anything, you will now face trial for a failure of government.
Ahmed, she organized a fun fair for children, and we lost over 30 children. You know, don't you think that is something that should at least allow her to face trial?
Yes, it's a fun fair to get out palliative. She's going to give them palliative. If hadn't been there, nothing to be given, people wouldn't have been there. If the government has done its own bit, people who are okay, they are okay, they wouldn't have even go there. She can organize whatever she wants. Nobody will even go there. But because of the pressure, the suffering on the land, people rush there to get what they were able to get. So I'm not saying that she will not be blamed. She can be blamed maybe for not organizing a very good crowd control model or whatever on that. But at least she should not be prosecuted for something that she came out to do willingly to help those that need it.
Okay.
To be candid, because if you were to do it, those that want to do, like in Abuja, the same thing happened. Absolutely. And the pastors and whatever were cautioned. They called them, they cautioned them, and they released them. They just about 1 hour or 2 hours, they were gone. But this woman, if there's nothing behind it, why should she be taken to remand for what? The same thing that happens in Abuja is the same that happened in Oyo. Those pastors would have also, with an Anambra state, they would have even also be taken to go on remand. But instead, they picked her. Why? You know, there's something behind it which we don't know. But all we know is that the country is in hunger. We are suffering. People are suffering. So no matter, even if you are going to give one cup of rice, people will come. Thousands of people will come there. I don't know how true it is. If you look at, there's a video that was going around the media on the Bodilion, our president street. Yeah. People queue up. Yes. People queue up in their thousands. Is that what we want this country to be? No. If things were okay, nobody would have gone there to go and suffer. Why didn't it happen before now? People, you can come out with your food and put it. Nobody will even come. Go to good countries that are doing good things. You can see food outside, looking for people to even give. They will not come there. But here, a cup, we want somebody, because they will come there to come out. They don't have anything to eat. Like the last caller, he talked about cooperative and whatever. If the government want to help, we'll have cooperatives. Put those things there. We'll go and buy them. We are not saying they should give us free. Put them there. We'll use little money to go and buy. But instead, the government is just hiding behind little, and then they are not prosecuting somebody who wants to help.
All right. Thank you so much, Olarewaju. You know, he spoke my mind initially, coming from the line of poverty. What happened at Funfair that made, it's not just Funfair, but children's life were lost. Parents are looking for opportunity for making their children have fun, and probably free foods were being given out.
And poverty, it was just for 500.
So poverty, why would, you know, if things were okay in the land, why would that be a bother to you? You won't even be bothered. He spoke about Bodla. I saw the video of Bodla. Thousands of people were lined up.
But that is really scary because he even made an example of Western world.
Yes.
In Western world, when you see people queuing up, those are homeless people that are given food. But in our country,
they hardly even queue.
Able-bodied men and women are queuing up for food. Why should that be? They're not homeless. They have homes. They have jobs. But how come
to queue up
their
to
jobs
get food
does not even pay them enough?
Sustain them.
It's really heartbreaking what is going on in our country. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Ibrahim. I'm calling from Suleja, Niger State.
Okay, good to have you this morning, Daniel. Let's hear your take on the topic. Please tone down the volume of your device. We can hear ourselves through your phone right now.
Okay. So, good morning. Now, my take on this is that I heard you talk about the people organizing such an event should bring more securities. And, you know, if you're putting securities in, you know, it's not for free. Another part of the palliative must go to the securities again. This thing is doing, I believe these philanthropists, they are doing it just to pushing the effect, not that they will solve the problem. It's just what they have in hand. They just want to give it out to the less vulnerable. So if you are talking of comparing the way that Mama Nigeria, President did her own, the number of securities there mostly is not because of the people to control the crowd there, but for our own protection. So if you are talking of the other people to do the same thing, it's not possible. So the only thing, as the last call I just said, is for the government to see that, okay, these people, Nigerians are suffering, and this suffering, the revival of this all these cooperatives, that is the way forward. And even if you bring that cooperative again, there will still be a sabotage. Some people will go and buy it in large quantity and then go and hide it, or they hide it and sell it. That's the way we are seeing it in this country now.
So Daniel,
okay, this is
what you're saying is that they should not face trial, the organizers of these events.
Pardon, I didn't hear you.
I said, so what you're saying is that the organizers of these events and also the people that organize the sharing of the palliative should not go for trial.
No, see, if you are talking of this trial again, Custom did it in Lagos. There was Stampede. In Nasarawa State, there was a palliative sharing by the government in Wellington University of Potem. There was a Stampede. People died there. What are the government taking measures about this one? Have you been area prior to this one that happened? Government took a prior measures. This is going to have happened. Because that one, it was the government that did it, so they have to lay it low. This one that they have been done by the private individuals to be echoed out also. So you see, there's a bias in all these things. We have to check from the past. The customs on and the natural, there are so many that happened. But those ones that are being, when government do something at wrong, nobody take accountable for it. But once any individual do it, is a problem. So Nigerian, we have to wake up and say, okay, let's call a spade a spade.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you, Daniel, for that take. So calling a spade, I think we're moving on. We're moving from the major problem, which is these people, especially for the Oni's ex-wife, Makinde is saying she must face trial, not just her, but even the I think head teacher or principal of the school where everything was organized there. So that is the major cause. I feel like as much as we want to push blame on the government, we know they have their own parts to this thing. But when it comes to organization, this is not the first time. We've had every, palliative distribution, any place that people come in crowded numbers for something that is meant to be good to happen, it ends up with people dying. I think beginning of 2024, ending of 2023, we had different situations happening in Bauchi, Gombe, wherever there is a sharing of things or food or palliatives or events, people just get stampede there. It is really scary. I know there was even a trade fair that was supposed to happen in Bauchi also that amounted to that. It was just crazy. It is too much. I think as much as we want to blame the government for their own, lapses for what they're doing, we also have to blame ourselves. If you are going to go to somewhere and collect something, you never plan for it. So since you know that you didn't plan for it, you're there. If it's your own luck to get it, you will get it. If it doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen. It's not even worth it to go and put your life, on the line for that. And also the organizers need to do better because there seems to be a lack of plan when it comes to organizing of things. And I think that I might not be a fan of, we all know that their intentions are good, but then we have to hold people accountable. When it comes to things. It starts with us. It starts with us. And organization, wherever you are, you should be scared whenever you plan on organizing something. And that would make you to be really cautious.
I believe it's a shared responsibility on the part of the government making the economy better so poverty wouldn't push people to such things. On the part of the organizers, Nigerians and people who organize events need to respect the people that are coming for the events. Respect them enough to put security measures in place to protect their lives. Respect them enough to know that they might be an uncontrolled crowd. What plans do I have for that? And then on the part of Nigerians, the level of indiscipline that is flowing among Nigerians is alarming. You see it even down from primary to secondary school setting to university. We know what it was like in university when they say, come and queue up to collect your form this or form that. The queue is outrageous. People are shunting the line. People are saying, oh no, I was behind you, I wasn't behind you. We see it in banks even today. So this is something that happens in our everyday lives. Everybody has that general attitude of not wanting to be in queue or feeling more important than the other person or wanting to be the first to get something. So it's a shared responsibility from the attitude of Nigerians towards orderliness, to respect on the part of people organizing the event, and the government to make simple and basic provisions. I mean, it's basic.
So if everybody do right, then we should avoid all of these issues. All right.
All right. Well, it's a good thing we heard your thoughts on it this morning. We got to feel your polls on this topic this morning. It was good to have you join us. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of this segment, but do not go anywhere. The show continues as we'll be having the discussion segment coming up right up. Do stay. We'll be right back.